they be able to take advantage of this? We see now the draft for game number 1 of a much anticipated rematch. Team Hawk will have first pick.
All right, let's see how this is going to go. With Team Hawk on the blue side and Todak on the red side. And a first ban Fredrin from blue side itself. Todak follows up with the Joy on red side. I think this is going to be an interesting one, you know? Fredrin, super flexible, usually a blue side opener, but now without it, what do you do?
Yeah, it's quite understandable, honestly, that Team Hawk would go for this ban because obviously, both Gary and Rival have played the Fredrin before, but I argue that Rival is probably a little more proficient with it because Gary does like to play aggressive junglers in comparison. So by denying the Fredrin from the pick entirely, it opens things up and allows Gary to go for more counterplay.
Do you think that they're purposely getting rid of the traditional tank jungler to be like, hey, maybe, just maybe, Rival is going to be put on something like a Kai, or if he doesn't feel like a Kai for the day, force him into an assassin, into Gary, and both of them just go head-to-head assassin, Link versus Hayabusa sort of situation.
But it's not as if Todak doesn't like that either. Ling is literally the hero that made Rival's career. His ability to split push, his ability to farm and participate in fights is unparalleled. So if Team Hawk wants to force him into that sort of situation, they gotta have a plan.
Well, let's see what that plan is. With Yve being banned coming in from Team Hawk, we haven't seen a Yve ban in quite some time. 1-1, the quick follow-up coming in from Todak. It feels like Todak understand what they want to get rid of for the red side, but these third picks is where it gets really interesting, because most of the time the third picks come down to what sort, it kind of gives you an idea what sort of strategy they want to do.
The first thing to think about is that Min has been doing an amazing job with Kaja. So there's a very good chance that they may want to first pick that since they have this capability. Todak, they're probably aware of this as well. Seeing that Team Hawk has already banned out Fredrin, they've already banned out Yve. These are heroes that provide a lot of control over the early, mid lane, and river side. And Team Hawk likes to go for early game aggression.
All right. If that's the case, do they ban out Glue in this type of area? Because again, Yve is gone, so Kaja loses a lot of value in her ultimate. It's still good, but you're not taking a real world manipulation. And let's not forget that Valentina is also available. Farmis getting recently banned, so it does tell us that, you know, they're expecting Todak to play more team fight oriented. Let's just deny them that option. If they happen to split push, that'd be even better for us.
It does feel like Team Hawk is probably trying to force Todak in a situation where Clint will have to pick up the Farsa, and I'm assuming this is the case, and they want to counteract it by providing a little bit more mid lane pressure. Maybe they are able to pick up the Kadita in return, but Todak still has that open for it themselves. Obviously, right now, the focus is going to be on mid lane control, early game map, because that aggression enables them to snowball from the beginning, and we know how important it is for Hito to get a snowball.
Ah, the Fanny gets banned out. I thought it was going to slip through the fingers of Todak, with that first pick being Valentina for the side of Team Hawk. That means Todak, Yumski, come on, are you going to lock in that Kaja? You want to show us what you got?
Kaja would be excellent right now, but giving away the Divine Judgment as a potential steal is also very dangerous. A Valentina opening is the most threatening in the hands of Team Hawk specifically, because we know how flexible Man is. This is a player that has mastery of many heroes, which means that he can use basically any ultimate he gets his hands on.
He's really quick on his feet, especially in these tight situations, 3v3, 2v2 even sometimes, where he's looking for an efficient ultimate to either get the job done or at the very least apply the slow effect from the IMU. Now we're seeing the picks come in. It's Arlott as well as the Kaja.
Ooh. This is a terrifying opening from Todak, honestly. Momo has already shown real proficiency with the Arlott, one of the best players of it in the season so far. And Yums, with the Divine Judgment, yes, it can get stolen away, but this will severely inhibit Min's ability to invade and perform aggressive movement. So right now, he's going to need to consider a roam hero that you don't want to pull towards your team.
Yeah, I'm thinking along the lines of maybe Atlas. There's an argument for Lolita as well. I think Lolita would be the safest in this position.
Kufra is a good option, I think.
Kufra sounds good, but I think they want to see Todak's at least 4 picks coming in from Todak before they make that decision. Going in blind with Kufra and then Todak deciding, you know what, we're just gonna deny him any types of dashes and look for an anti-engage. It could be a little tough.
For now, looks like the choice is going to be Martis and Beatrix. Quite interesting here to give Beatrix over Tito. We've already seen he's very comfortable with this hero. I'm surprised they wouldn't have started with something like Claude. I guess okay, actually thinking about it, I guess it's because Claude going in, easy target for the Divine Judgment, so Beatrix does make a lot of sense here. The Martis going to be safe, and kind of difficult to jungle into this depending on what Rival goes for.
I think Rival's going to go for the Akai at some point, but Farsa's going to be locked in first to guarantee some form of scaling before the second half here, and especially with multiple tank junglers still available. We still have Barat still available. Martis is already gone, which leaves Rival at odds. We might actually get a Ling from him unless Team Hawk has anything to say about that.
Trying to think about what other tank jungles are still available. There's not that many. We've seen some players, some teams go for Baxia. Unfortunately, success rate not very high right now. Todak definitely respecting Min on the Atlas. They see that the Valentina is already available. Don't want to give another strong ultimate to them. And it is one of the heroes you don't want to pull with Divine Judgment.
Yeah, Team Hawk banned out the carry. All right, they know Chiku Guys plays it really proficiently, but how does that really affect their comp? I guess they are preparing for EXP as well as the roam pick. I think Todak should consider banning Glue at this point now that the carry is gone.
Glue is a good shout. Besides that, Masha may need some consideration because Lola specifically plays a pretty mean Masha. Even if he doesn't necessarily win lane early, his job will just be find the Farsa, go for the Thunderclap, and it ruins a lot of teamfight potential.
That's true, but I think I would prefer the Benedetta here. Todak actually listening on to the English broadcast, taking out the Kufra this time to enable them. So that does mean that Todak is actually considering Rival to be thrown into an assassin jungler position. Oh, Brody, that's a good ban coming out from Team Hawk.
We really have not seen a lot of Brody, which makes me sad because Brody is such a fun hero to play, such a fun hero to watch as well. But Team Hawk recognizes they have pretty solid early right now, but they do require some late game scaling. It's important not to give Chiku a hero that outright wins the gold lane.
Yeah, I think at this point they can guarantee the Melissa here, but they need to deny a couple of picks. I think the most important one is going to be people who can jump into the backline, right? The Masha, like you've mentioned before, from Lola. I would argue that Yuzong and Lapu Lapu do threaten Melissa, especially if you have a form of anti-CC to get through the get away with me. It just makes Melissa's life so freaking difficult. But then, where does this Arlong go? Oh, Dyroth! A Dyroth tank!
Is this Dyroth? Is a Rival playing Dyroth jungle? Is he stealing it?
It's Todak. It's Todak. For all we know, they could be like, hey, joke's on you. It's Arlen support, and then we send Kaja into the jungle. you never know.
I don't even want to think about it right now.
So let's move aside from that. We'll let Todak do their own thing because again, they have first pick in the second phase, but Team Hawk needs to kind of round out their composition. And I think what's currently missing from their composition is a good way to kind of follow up on the engagement from the Martis. How are they going to do that now that the Atlas as well as the Kufra is gone? They can make their composition a little bit more pick heavy with the Franco, arguably. They
Hilda or Cho.
Yeah, Hilda's not that bad either.
Oh,
Ruby and Damas.
So we've already seen Lola play Tamas. He is literally that one pick and that one win on the hero. Pretty solid way to bolster the lane against Arlet. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the exact matchup that he played it into previously.
Yes, he did.
Min playing on the Ruby. We've seen this before. Still a little worried because the hero does lack a little bit in terms of tankiness compared to others, but does provide a lot of CC that could potentially be useful here.
I think the Ruby in this particular composition against what Todak have right now is incredibly good. The Dyroth is going to struggle to get in on these fights. The Arlot as well, even if he dashes in with a Vengeance, it's half a second to stun. The I'm Offended is going to make it into a full second and a half, and that's a full second and a half that the rest of the Hawk members can collapse. But Chiku locking in, oh boy, he's locking in onto the Claude. I don't know how to feel about this one.
What I feel when seeing Chiku Guys playing Claude is pure terror. This is one of the scariest heroes I've ever seen Chiku play because it is that classic gold lane marksman, and he plays it with a style and aggression that no one else does.
He is a very brave man. when he has his Blazing Duet and stacks up. But looking at the compositions, the kill pressure from Todak at level 4 is through the roof. Their late game scaling is also going to be pretty ridiculous with Arlon as well as the Pharsa and Claude. But let's not forget, Team Hawk, what they excel at is going to be team fighting. So let's see as many 5v5s as possible.
Right, one of the most powerful points of Team Hack is their team fighting. So if they can play around that, this is a possible victory for them. But Todak is definitely not going to make it easy. Who will come out on top? The national favorites who have represented us many times, or the defending champions of Season 10.
Now, both junglers started on the same side of the map as they path their way down towards gold side. Both Chiku and Hito not revealing themselves too much. Hito not even using Renner this time. He's going to be sticking with Nibiru for the time being. We'll see how that changes on. He did take Weapon Master as well, so expect him for some big damage in the late game.
We can see that Man as well has decided to go for Mystery Shop here on the Valentina. Definitely looking to scale up against Flint here. As we mentioned during the draft, mid lane control going to be very important for Team Hack, especially since they know that that is usually where they win out against teams.
Oh, look at Hito play his lane. He is making it tough for Chiku, guys. Punishing him continuously. If he could have broken the regeneration as well, that would have been ideal. But look at the majority of the members of Hawk knowing that Hito is dominating this far. They just want to maintain this pressure. Make sure that Chiku, guys, doesn't walk up to the wave without being concerned about Hito or the members that it's sent down.
Flint in a lot of danger. He's actually going to get knocked out of Wings by Wings. What? First blood fed over to Gary very early on.
No way, I am so sorry there. I really thought he wasn't going to die. He had his battle spell up and I thought he was already over the wall.
Looks like they were able to knock down the bird before Flint was able to get away, and in a moment of panic, he didn't realize that he had to use Flicker to escape from that situation. So already, that gives Man a slight advantage.
Yep, and now with turtle control falling into the hands of Team Hawk, it's going to be a 2v2 until those roamers start getting involved.
Lola already jumping on top of Rival, going to be popping that Tama's ultimate right there as Yums comes in. He's going to be looking for the Divine Judgment onto Gary, specifically as Min. He wants to be the one to tank it away. Gary, he's going to get suppressed. Meanwhile, in the backline, distracting them. They get the trade onto Rival. So both junglers are just gone like that. Turtle still low, about 20% HP on this Bow. He's going to get terrified by Man. To take it. It's Yums somehow who gets the last hit, and now Todak will make a hasty retreat. Flint gonna be the target again. He finally is able to flicker away from Min.
What a weird interaction that was. In terms of battle spells, we do lose Vengeance from Lola on a shorter cooldown, but they got 2 flickers out of Todak despite not getting the turtle. So really, who is the victor here? I would argue Team Hawk.
That's a difficult one to say, to be honest with you, because that was a fairly even trade. Both junglers were picked off individually, but getting the turtle does give a little bit of a boost. Team Hawk ideally wants that EXP for the team in order to start scaling up, and as long as the net worth is even, that is ideal for Chiku, guys.
So the trade-off is with Turtle, Rival is going to be a level up, well, at least have a bit of an EXP lead against Gary. It doesn't really change the situation down in bot side of the map. The roamers as well are exactly the same, but we do see that Flint does have his own EXP lead against Man.
Right now, Yums, he's going to be looking for something. Min could be in danger, but he will dash out in time. Right now, mid lane control still going to be the priority. Yums will have Divine Judgment back up, and Todak wants to play around this cooldown, especially when they have a Diroff jungle. That is so much burst damage.
Yeah, looking at the gold so far between Chiku as well as Hito, it looks like Chiku is slightly ahead in this lane. Oh.
Ooh, the flicker hook right into the sniper shot. Chiku, oh! The final hit. Chiku able to walk away with literally no HP.
Oh man, that's so frustrating. Chiku getting so much value out of this sprint. I mean, look at that. Not many people decide, you know what, as Claude, I'm gonna take sprint.
I am not surprised that Chiku would take sprint though. Of all people, this is the most aggressive Claude player in MY. The fact that he goes in and out and sometimes even uses himself as bait for the rest of his team in the gold lane position is what Team Hawk has to be wary of. That's gonna be the flicker used by Hito as well without gaining the kill. Better airstrike, Min, and a lot of, oh, that is so much damage from Rival right there. Instantly bursting down the Ruby. Lola on top of Yums. He wants to get the trade kill. Yums gonna flicker away from Gary, so not getting the decimate straight in, but he will finish off Rival with it, as Lola still surviving the entire 1v1. Decimate from Gary, not able to finish Momo off, so Team Hawk has to back this up.
Oh my goodness, that's so frustrating. Gary had many choices of who to decimate. Does he want to kill Yums? Does he want to kill Rival there? Does he want to kill someone like a Momo? And once again, their battle spells being exhausted here. Gary, now with his retribution back up, he needs to just hover around. Hasn't even gotten his reset, and Lola getting chunked to 10%.
Now, the fact that Team Hawk didn't win that fight is huge for Todak, because losing Rival meant they could have lost the turtle, but now Min is the one in danger. Gets knocked back with Final Slash, but that's enough. Todak will not over-invest. The turtle is theirs.
Yeah, they don't need to at all. They have to keep on fighting here for the time being, and Hito, with an extremely greedy build, hasn't even bought boots. Decided to just get the steel leg plates into Blade of Despair. Lola should be okay here, right?
He's taking the 1v3. The tower's being down as Rival. Normally he would be okay, but this is a tear-off we're talking about.
Oh, Momo is so smart. He's so smart. It's the micro mechanics.
Oh man, he's now in danger again. He's gonna get pulled back with Divine Judgment. Hito not in time to save him with the Nimu's Passion as Feathered Airstrike nearly takes him out with the Flicker Hook. No, by Min! He turns it around, pulls Yums into the tower.
Beautiful play coming out from Min. Momo is able to get the tier 1 up on top side, but Todak so far are coming out the winners in a majority of these trades. Team Hawk need to flip the tempo back onto Todak, but when exactly it's going to happen is a completely different story here. Let's look at the goal rankings. And despite Hito's good early game against Chiku, the EXP has been caught up, and more importantly, the gold is falling into the favor of Chiku guys as well.
Always the danger of Chiku guys on Claude. His farming speed is unparalleled, even with Hito, who has been demonstrating a really efficient farming path up until now. Team Hawk, they've been doing a good job of defending and counter-attacking against Todak's aggression, but typically they want to be the ones in the aggressor's seat.
Yep, let's find out how they're going to play this with the majority of the Todak members hovering around this bot side, and Rival, honestly, I mean, we're even seeing Momo down by the mid lane as well. Top side will be sacrificed for it, so Todak will need to get a trade on this bot tier 1.
Todak willing to trade that top tier 1 in order to win out Chiku's lane, and I'd argue that it's very worth it for them, because this Claude is the win condition, and right now Todak are still maintaining the gold lead and disabling Hito from coming online.
You know what's crazy? That this gold lead is being developed by specifically Chiku himself, who is currently at least 500 gold ahead of Hito as of right now.
Yums is gonna get Divine Judgment onto Man, who stole the Feathered Airstrike, but he will flicker away. Meanwhile, there was an attempted gank on bottom by Min, but he wasn't able to catch out Chiku guys, still as slippery as always. Feathered Airstrike from Flint now to zone away Gary, now on 60% HP, making this turtle contestation very difficult for members of Todak. They're gonna catch out Gary, knock him away. The Retribution not going to land in time as Rival delays the turtle and secures it for himself. Lola now way too far. Vengeance not gonna save him from the tear off.
Yep, he sacrifices his life for hire, while bottom side will be able to get this tier 1. Unfortunately, Todak still winning out in these trades overall and actually increasing their gold lead to at least 1k. Yums now purchasing, at least having a blade armor. He's going to stay alive for a lot longer against Hito until Hito gets... I'm going to double check his items. Yeah, he does not have the Malefic Roar just yet.
He went for the Blade of Despair first item, still working on completing all of that right now. Todak still in control, but a 1k net worth lead isn't that big yet, so it's definitely not fully in their favor, especially since Team Hawk has been trading up in terms of structures. Yums! He stole it!
Yeah, you hate to see it. You really hate to see it in situations like that. I don't know, personally, I would have imagined that Mon would instantly just go in and start pulling Yums back into the rest of his team there, where a lot of them actually had position to follow up.
That just feels bad though. Gary isn't one to easily let his buff get stolen like that, and he purposefully did not use Retribution because he was confident enough that it wouldn't happen, but it did, and that's going to further the EXP gap between them. We can see Rival, he's confident enough in his farm that he can give away the buff to Chiku.
Yeah, they're going to keep this up for a while, but again, nobody has really broken even just yet. Flint baiting this really nice idea coming out from Kodak's side, especially since they have pressure down bot side too. They're getting all the information. They see that Hito is on top side. They see Lola down by bot side. Instantly, they pounce on the weaker side.
Yep, Yumes, he does have his Divine Judgment. He's gonna use it. Pull him out. My goodness, the Tamas melt so quickly. Killing spree going over to THQ, guys. Meanwhile, Team Hawk wants to make an attempt. They're gonna trade the tier 2 up top, and Momo not gonna be enough by himself. Gary even cutting the mid wave because he knows that Todak will want to go for one more. As Chiku fails to destroy the bottom inhibitor, Yumes, he could be in trouble here. Probably not. Gary doesn't want to take that fight.
Yep, and I think Todak, this is where the macro becomes very, very important. What do you sacrifice here? Are you going to give space or are you going to contest it? And if you do, based on what information? And look at that, clearing these bushes one by one, having Chiku by their side, and making sure that he didn't greed out for this orange buff in Team Hawk's jungle.
I'm really scared of Chiku, guys. Right now, he's gotten so much free farm thanks to the movements of Todak this whole game, and we haven't seen a single blazing duet in a team fight yet. So once that happens, I'm worried for Team Hawk.
Well, it depends on how you define a team fight. I would say that skirmishes, we've seen him use it a couple of times, but now with Lord pulling to their side of the map, Todak wants to make sure that they have position so that Momo, who's currently waiting in the tri-bush, hasn't been discovered yet. Min shows up, and now the zoning begins.
Yep, Momo will be able to get this done. Conceal play from Yumes with Rival. They're looking for this Ruby. If they can pick off any member of Team Hawk, they instantly win the Lord fight. They recognize that Lola is split pushing bottom lane as well. So the Tamas will take a while to rejoin the rest of the team. Gary, he does get Divine Judgment, but the Lord knocks up Yumes, so they can't pull him back. And now Momo will be slain. The Blazing Duet comes in, doing a lot of damage. Min gonna be picked off by Chiku, guys, with some remaining damage as Lola jumps in. He has already used Vengeance, and there's so much damage from Todak. Mega kill going to Rival.
Huge coming in from Todak. That's what we want to see from them. Quick, lightning fast results in these team fights. Instant Blazing Duet. Instantly Rival is making sure that he's sundering the armor of people like Lola, people like Min, who are building tank against the rest of the team. And now with a 2K goal lead, Todak are looking in favor to maintaining this tempo and control against Team Hawk.
It won't be difficult for them as well. Todak has been outpacing their opponents the entire time. The early game lane control, which usually falls in favor of the 5G connection of Team Hawk, has been fully taken over by Yumes, Flynn, as well as the pressure that Rival brings due to just how much damage he is able to do.
Yep, and now Hito with 3 items, 3 very important items, is going to be a legitimate threat against anybody who gets caught from the side of Todak. And if Min can find more than one, even better.
That would be the ideal, but Todak not going to make it simple for Team Hawk. Right now, they're going to be challenging. They're going to get the tier 1 mid for free. Really good zoning with the feathered airstrike by Flynn, and fleeting time has been completed by the Kaja.
Conceal play.
Ooh, they're looking for it right now. The slow, Divine Judgment onto Lola. Where did Hammers go? Momo in the backline. Final slash on 3 people. Gary gonna have to get away. Nibiru's Bastard picks off the Arlen, but the Lord is now crashing. Elemental Lord will not do too much damage, but Feathered Airstrike zoning them out yet again. Perfect positioning by Flynn to allow Todak to take these structures.
Now that's how you use a Farsa to zone away your opponents, especially during the siege. I mean, the high ground defense from Team Hawk could have been a lot better, but again, just zoning them away from inhibitor turrets. Todak recognizes the value that they can get out of the Feathered Airstrike.
Really good discipline from them so far as well, knowing that they can't go too far. They're not willing to give away shutdowns to Team Hawk that could allow them to come back into this game. If they're not able to take a tower, they won't go for it. They're the ones that aggress. They won't allow... Oh, a nice flicker hook though onto Yumes. Divine Judgment in return means that the Kaja is out of commission.
Yep, Kaja does... wait, hold on. That means Farsa also doesn't have her ult.
Oh, Chiku, guys, is jumping in with the Wind of Nature. So much damage, but Man with the magic damage gets the killing spree. Chiku jumped a bit too far. And now Lola, he is going to be slowing down the retreat. He's on top of Rival. Momo now trying to buy some time. Rival turns around. Vengeance keeps him alive as Hito gets the shutdown. Flickers forward and gets the double kill onto Flynn, clearing out 4 members of Toda.
Look at that reaction reaction time coming out from Hito, saving his flicker for something important and to net himself a kill, 3 for nothing, and now flipping the gold lead on Todak's heads.
Another 7 seconds before Chiku, guys, is able to come back online means that this tier 2 will belong to Team Hak, and that is excellent. That is an instant turnaround. The net worth lead now in their favor.
Such a good play, such a good play. That's the Filipino reaction time I was expecting out of Hito. Didn't get stunned out like the 2 teammates behind him. Doesn't need it, he just wants the kills. And now the question is from here on out, right? Now that the gold lead is kind of evened up, we're seeing that Hito almost at max items. Jiku, guys, had max items but died very early on into the fight, trying to bait for the rest of his team.
It's very clear now that Yoon's positioning is very important. He will get the Divine Judgment onto Gary, who instantly melts as Team Hak makes a positioning mistake. Feathered airstrike onto the back line as Rival secures the Lord. Momo dropping real low, but he'll be able to walk out.
Yeah, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Flint is not showing himself to Mon. He's denying him the feathered airstrikes, and then it forces Mon to actually play very responsibly. Yums disrespects the place. I guess I'm just going to have to take your all and punish you for walking up.
Team fight from Todak right now is impeccable, and while Team Hak does have pretty good options, their utility is more centered around picking the members of Todak off one by one rather than going for the full 5v5 as Yums flickers forward once again with the Divine Judgment. Vengeance not going to save the life of Lola. Gary will come back up, but this will be a 4-man defense by Team Hak as Todak, they're prepping the waves to sink alongside the Luminous Lord. This is going to be difficult. Team Hak needs to try and keep at least one of these inhibitors alive. Top one is gone. Todak still in full control. A really nice hook by Min. 3 members into the tower, but Man is gonna get shut down straight away by the overwhelming damage of Rival as Jiku jumps forward, picks up Min, gets the double kill onto Gary, and Team Hak is wiped out as the Lord sets up a clean victory for Todak.
Solid game from Todak. 1 blunder was all it took for the goal to swing back, but at the end of the day, their win conditions were all online to close it out against Team Hak under their own towers.
This was beautiful execution and exactly why Todak continues to be a threat to any team that wants to claim victory in the MPL. I'm really liking this combo right now from this squad. The discipline, the flexibility, the knowledge of exactly what they need to do and when they need to do it.
Yep. Not